Oh, there you are. Good morning. Yeah. Monday morning live. Got sunshine in northeast Arkansas. Still a little bit of a berg. I got my jacket on. But look out there. Is that that's like sunshine. That's my backyard right there. You can see the barn. I can't ever do this right. Back there. That's my barn. And glad to see you guys this morning. Did you have a good weekend? Did you spend the Lord's Day with the Lord? Big deal. You need to do that. That's a big deal. You need to do that. We had a really good Lord's Day at my home congregation. But anyhow, glad that you're here. Had to do a little more redneck rigging on the thing. Remember I told you last week, I've got you laid up there on a thing that's between, well, let me just show it to you. See right there? You got the steering wheel. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see that. Well, you see this piece of wood right here. See, I had to tack that on so that you guys don't fall off mid-post. Yeah, there's my buddy Kevin. Good morning, bro. Good to see you. Okay, well, here we are. Benita there. He's Benita. It's good to see Benita. She's going to be one of our contestants that gets in the thing today. So there's my buddy Buddy. Good to see him. So sunshine here in northeast Arkansas. What's the weather over there where you're at? That's what I'm curious to know. But anyhow, okay, let's see. What do we do first? Oh, yeah, it's still February. There's Margie. She's also in the running. Hi, Margie. It's February, the month of love. It's also my birthday month. You might want to write that down. Thursday's coming up quick. I'm happy. The size of the present doesn't matter. It just matters how much it costs. P.O. Box 682. Anyhow, it's love month. We need to focus on things. Shiloh says it's cold. Oh, don't even. Shiloh, you live in Louisiana. It doesn't ever get cold in Louisiana. My parents are there. Gonna go see Mom here in a little bit. Mom says hi. I'm gonna go eat my traditional Monday morning breakfast at Mom's house. Can't hardly wait. But guys, let's stay on topic. It's the month of love. And so we need to talk about love. Here's my joke for you today. I didn't get a lot of giggles out of this one, but I thought it was funny. What do cavemen give to their wives on Valentine's Day? What do cavemen give to their wives on Valentine's Day? A lot of kisses and Uggs. Ugh, ugh, ugh. I thought that was great. Kisses and Uggs. Okay, what we're doing now is we're going to have a couple more little funny memes that I'm going to throw up here. Then we're going to have a 24-hour period of voting on who gets the mug. At the present moment, Megan is the only human alive to have ever won the mug. For a solid month, Megan, you have been the only human on the planet to actually win the mug. But today, that will change. Somebody out there is going to win them a mug. And, by the way, I know where Megan lives, and so I was able to hand it to her personal, but these other folks who are on the list here, some of you don't have an address, and so if you win the mug, I need to have an address so I can mail you your mug. It does not come with Cindy tea, but it should. We just don't know how to seal it off there, and it probably goes stale in the mail. So, stale in the mail. That just came to me just now. Stale in the mail. Sometimes I amaze myself. Can you see that? Let's pull it back here. There, you can see that. Okay. All right, here we go. This is this is not on the list, but somebody sent this. I think it was Billy. I'm not my friend she's up in Indiana. I can't remember, Billy. Where am I at? I can't remember, Billy, if you sent this or not, but you can take credit for it. It didn't make the running, but it did give me personally a big giggle. This is Jesus, of course, and he's got his folks on the boat, and it says, "You idiot." He said, "Cast the nets." Not castanets, get it? He's doing a castanet. Billy, that was funny. And I stopped for a moment and actually giggled out loud at that particular one. I like that one. Now, this next one, I'm not trying to be offensive here. My buddy Buddy sent this one, okay? And again, this is not in the running, buddy, but you do need a coffee mug. I pick on Shiloh for drinking coffee, but honestly, I have never seen anybody drink coffee like my buddy Buddy and his son Matt. They go through coffee like it's water. And so Buddy, you got to keep bringing them on here. Shiloh says, bring it to me when you come down here. You haven't even won yet. You don't even know. Anyhow, back to the subject of coffee. My buddy needs a coffee mug and he's a funny guy. He sends stuff all the time. He and my wife got a thing going where he sends her these little, what are they called? Those little fat guys. Those little, what are those? I can't remember what they're called, but they were in that one movie with the mean guy, and they're really funny little people. Oh, somebody help me out there. What are those things called? I don't know. Cindy, are you watching? Anyhow, they send these things back and forth. Buddy's a funny guy. He needs a mug. Now, he's not into running, so I'm not politicking for him right now. But this next one's from Buddy, and it's not intended to be funny because I know a lot of Amish people, okay? And there's a lot of people who make jokes about me, etc. But this one proves that you can be assertive and not have to use garbage language. That's it. Minions. Benita and Heather got it. Minions. Buddy and my wife have a minion thing happening. They do minions back and forth, and they're really pretty funny. They dance on the screen and stuff. Okay, this is the thing I wanted you guys to see. Buddy, I honestly did. I laughed out loud at this one. I just thought this was hilarious. All right, so this is an Amish road rage moment. Okay, the guy at the up top left. Get thee out of the way. The next guy. Go raise a barn. Next guy. Thy mother wears army bonnets. And then that step on it, Yoder, whatever his name is. And then the last one. Place it up by butter churn. Now I know that's not really religious, but I'm telling you, the Amish folks, they are very, very moral people. And have some Amish friends. I've actually eaten in Amish homes, and they sang to us they sang the song The Amazing Grace a cappella. Beautiful. And then the food, it was so good. But I thought that was hilarious. Thank you, buddy, for sharing it. All right, guys, we got to get down to business. Now, here's your collage. Let me see if I'm back out of the way. I need to put something up there white so you can read that. There you go. There, that bottom one. You got to be able to read that one. Because that's our last entry. That one down there from Kanita. That's our last. Now, I think I've used that before, but I chose Kanita this month for two reasons. That one where it says, anyone need an arc? I know a guy. I chose it for two reasons. Number one, it's funny. Number two, because I want to remind you, you don't have to send me a meme. You can just send me, a text that has a joke in it. It's actually it's easier on me on Monday morning to put up that stuff than it is this other stuff. But anyhow, so Kanita, you're in the running now for the mug. You're the fourth person, because there's only 4 Mondays in February. Anyhow, so top left hand, that's Margie, and Margie did the surfing guy. Remember, what does it say? Dude, did I hear someone say they're surfing on the mount? Sermon on them, I get it. Okay, and then Benita, that one, I don't know, that seems a little cruel to me, but anyhow, Adam is saying to Eve, yesterday we were fighting, but today you're giving me new boxers? I don't get it. And of course, they're made of poison ivy. I don't even want to think about that. And then down in the bottom left, yes, Shiloh, you are in the running. Moses, flowers and a stone tablet card. You really shouldn't have. Phew. This is Moses, the timeless romantic. That's funny. That is very funny. And then Kanita, anyone need an arc? I know a guy. All right, so now what happens here, for those of you who know in our very complicated process that we have here, you got 24 hours. Now, I had 2 people last month who voted after the 24-hour deadline. Not counting them. No, sir. We are going to be professional on Monday mornings, and so you got 24 hours between the 10 o'clock hour today and the 10 o'clock hour tomorrow. Okay, so let me just explain it to those of you out there who aren't getting this. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're done. And so you got to vote on this particular post. So if you're going to vote, you vote here. You can vote now. You can vote 12 hours from now. You can vote. Yeah, you can vote 12 hours from now, right? We give them 24 hours, right? You can vote 20 hours from now. You can even vote 23 hours and 59 minutes from now. But you cannot vote 24 hours and 1 minute from now. Did I make that clear enough? Does everybody get how this thing works? We're going to do it professional, folks. No, Shiloh, I knew you'd be the first to get in there. You're not allowed, and by the way, if you're one of these nominees, you're not allowed to use this like some political platform or something, okay? Take that off, Benita. Stop. There's your collage. Okay, let's see. What else do I have to do? I don't have any more pictures to throw up, so you just got to look at me for the rest of the time. Okay, it seems like I got a little chest cold thing happening there, but it's okay. My little marker's given out. I left it in Mr. Ugly, and it doesn't like Mr. Ugly very well. So, anyhow. What we're going to do is we're going to have our Monday morning challenge. The Make It Real challenge is give them a hand. Give them a hand. This is actually a funny one. At least I thought it was funny. But I also think it really should shout to the older generation. And so it's a little bit of a longer reading, but I think you'll appreciate this one. Give them a hand. On Sunday night at our congregation, young boys are given the opportunity to lead a song at the opening of services. Although Gabriel is only 3 and cannot yet read, he loves to stand in front, announce the number, and lead the song from memory. When his turn comes to lead a song, he tucks the book under one arm and then scampers toward the giant steps that lead to the podium. It truly is a comical thing to watch his ascent. He is so small and the songbook is so big that it almost looks like he's carrying a cement brick onto the stage. And I remember that. It's like he's almost dragging the thing up there, but he wanted to do it himself. The steps are much too tall for his short little legs, and he has to half jump, half stumble his way to the top. Oh, it was such a great thing. In order to see over the shortest side of the podium, it had 2 sides back in the day, and so they stood at the shortest side. But in order to see over the shortest side of the podium, a special stool had been crafted for the young song leaders. Gabriel is one of the shortest boys to use it. That's kind of funny because now he's one of the tallest boys in the youth group, but anyhow. After dragging his cement songbook up the mountain, it takes all that he has left to throw it on top of the podium, then climb to the top of that little stool thing that they made for him. The audience begins to giggle. In spite of all his heroic efforts and even the aid of the stool, all you can see is Gabriel, the top of his little blonde head, and 2 big brown eyes peering over the songbook. It used to be like this, and that's all you could see. And he had blonde hair back in the day. What's with that? Got dark hair now. It is at this point that someone will say, pull that mic down so that we can hear him. The adult song leader will rush up there, he'll hurry to the top of the stage, and he'll pull the mic down so that Gabriel's mouth is basically swallowing it. The little song leader strains his neck as he looks almost straight up at the microphone. You know that number. 10:14, he'll say. 10:14. The audience laughs, and then our weekly singing of Jesus Loves Me will begin. With great enthusiasm, Gabriel launches into the first verse. He often sings way too loudly, given the aid of the mic. But what can I say? He's got my lungs. At the last verse, Gabriel pulls the cement after it, as the last verse ends. I'm not reading well. As the last verse ends, Gabriel pulls the cement songbook off the podium and makes his way back to his seat. Everyone winks, points, nods as he walks back the center aisle. Of course, I'm beaming inside. That's my boy. No one in the room is more proud or satisfied than Gabriel's father. After Gabriel finishes, another little boy climbs the carpeted mountain and leads his favorite song, Jesus Loves the Little Children. Again, the audience praises him with their nods of approval as he loudly announces the number and then leads the singing, and that treasure leads us in the singing of a treasured classic. As he leaves the stage, I watch him walk proudly back the aisle. His smile stretches from ear to ear, and as he passes each pew, the men give him high fives for a job well done. That's his little buddy Blaine, and that was funny to watch Blaine too. They've all both grown up now. They're both preaching now. But anyhow, that was fun back in the day when Blaine and Gabriel were cute. Okay, life lesson. An elder, this is where I get a little serious. An elder of another congregation once told me that it was not appropriate to applaud for a young person who led a song or sang in a chorus. His reasoning: to applaud after such an event is like stealing praise from the Father. Really? I had a long time to think about that line of reasoning. Being a father myself, I could not disagree more. Let me slap on Mr. Ugly to make it for punctuation. I could not disagree more. Being a father myself, I already said that 3 times. I'm going to move on now. When Gabriel is praised, I am praised. When my son is lifted up, I am exalted also. In fact, if he were not praised for his valiant efforts, I would be very offended. Is it not possible to praise the Son without also bringing joy? It is not possible to praise the Son without also bringing joy to the heart of his loving Father. There's a great difference between praising a child for a job well done and worshiping the child as a replacement for God. Is it not possible to praise a person for his willingness to be used by the Father and at the same time worship the Father for his willingness to use that person? I think so. We praise our children for good grades, athletic achievements, and music awards, but when they excel at spiritual leadership, we often give them only the awkward silence. Is it any wonder that many of our children are growing up with a greater attachment to earthly priorities than they are to the affairs of God? May I read it one more time? Is it any wonder that many of our children are growing up with a greater attachment to the earthly priorities than they are to the affairs of God? We will applaud everything. We'll act like a bunch of Banshee Indians at a basketball game when they sink a free throw, and then when they do something wonderful at church, we sit there like it's not worthy of us praising them. Come on, people. Young people are not asking to be worshiped. They simply crave validation from their spiritual mentors. Would God expect us to do any less? Okay, skipping on down here. Children are God's chosen illustration of the kingdom. To withhold their validation is to offend the one who gave them life. Don't insult the Father by mistreating his children. They need to hear our applause. They need our words of encouragement. Young people are a gift from God. Let's give them a hand. Mark chapter 9 and verse 42. Take this serious if you're one of those old fogies out there who says you can't clap after a baptism or whatever it may be. Take this one and write it down. Mark chapter 9 and verse 42. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believes in me to stumble, it would be better for him to have a millstone hung around his neck and be thrown into the sea. Amen 3 times. We need to validate our young people. They're leaving us by the droves, and some of it's because of those little blue-haired women who sit at the back with that critical smirk on their face, or those critical older folks who can't find anything good when our young people might. I get it. They might not have the exact approach that we've always used over the years as far as traditionally correct is concerned. But we have got to give them praise. Last time I did the figures, there's more than 70% of our kids who are leaving the church upon graduation, most of whom never come back. And some of it's because us old folks have not given them the validation they deserve. Yes, you need to clap in church. All right, let me give you a couple things. There are 3 questions. Give them a hand. Number 1, how well do you relate to young people? I've noticed over the years that some of those who don't like to give them a hand are folks who don't relate well to young people. They're probably the ones who won't volunteer to teach the teen class. They'll sit and be critical, and they'll sit stoically and act like worship service is supposed to be a funeral, but they will not give any validation to those who are actually making an effort to bring about true worship. How well do you know young people? How well do you relate to young people? If you say to yourself, I'm not real comfortable with young people, you need to work on it. They're not only the next generation and the future of the church, they are present tense, many of them, members of the church. You need to work on that. You don't relate well to young people? You need to get over it, or you need to work on trying to do better with it. Number 2, what did you need at their age to feel validated? Think back on somebody or something that happened when you were young that got you to really being dedicated and passionate about the Lord's work. There was somebody. We got a fellow at our congregation who passes out little mints, little candies. And everybody loves to see Mr. Burley because he just makes you feel good. I don't remember ever hearing Mr. Burley preach a sermon. But every time I preach one, the man's eyes are glued on me, like he just can't get enough. And he hugs on the kids, and he appreciates the kids. And every time those kids do something good, he's all over praising them, etc., etc. We need to be that kind of an older person. Number 3, so here they are. How well do you relate to young people? What did you need at their age to be validated? And number 3, what's a millstone? Look that one up. I saw a meme not too long ago, and the man had a millstone tied to his neck, and he was going down, 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 down. A millstone tied to your neck is not going to let loose. Maybe I should say it this way. Depends on who's tying it, I suppose. But it's going to drag you to the bottom. If the rope doesn't let loose, it's going to drag you to the bottom. In other words, Jesus was saying, and you might even say rather harshly, Jesus was saying, don't you dare discourage one of these young people. When they get up and they lead a song, when they draw a picture, when some of these cute little girls after services walk up to you and hand you, as they do to me all of the time, sermon notes. This is what I took down when I was listening to your sermon, or a little picture that they drew. When they do that, give them a hand. We need to applaud our kids because we're losing them. All right. Let's see what we got here. Prayer list. Got a bunch of them, so we're going to run. Ashley. I think her mom's doing better. I haven't really heard a report on that, but you had brain surgery. Velma, somewhat better. She was in the hospital. I think she was going to be able to go back to her care unit, but I'm not sure that I didn't hear last night at church whether or not that actually happened. Luke, dealing with epilepsy and horrible headaches. The two Denises, mine here in Arkansas, and the one that lives in Louisiana, the ones here in Arkansas, leg issues, Louisiana, I believe that was one of their grandchildren to be prayed for. Joe, who's the father of my good friend Dale, having issues, don't know what they are, but we need to pray for him. Again, keep Iliad's folks in your prayers. I love them so much. I know that they're hurting. I saw just, I think it was a few days ago, that they were mentioning that had he lived, this would have been his first birthday. And I know that was a hard day for them. So remember them, please. Deborah's over here. This is a friend of mine who asked yesterday during Lord's Day Live if we'd remember her in our prayers. And she didn't say anything specific, but we're definitely going to do that. Bryson and Vic made it home. I think that was what we talked about last week. They were all stranded and all that, but they did make it home from their youth group trip. Slade's going to be traveling. And then my buddy Lecky, his daughter had surgery on her leg, I believe it was. She broke something. She's a wrestler, and she's actually really, really good. But Lecky has been massively important to my ministry in the past. And so remember Lecky's daughter, if you will. Again, if you've got a prayer request, send it to me. Sometimes I'm not very good about writing it down, so you might have to send it to me repeatedly, but I'm doing my best with what I have to work with, and that ain't a lot. Monday Morning Live. Let's do it one last time. Okay, guys, here it is. There you go. So you've got 24 hours. Get after it. Is it going to be Margie, Bonita, Shiloh, or Kanita? All four of them are women. What's with that? Women are funny people. Okay, vote. Oh, Shiloh says Slade isn't coming anymore, so I guess we don't have to pray for Slade's travels. But you can still pray for my buddy Slade. He lives up in New York State. Okay, vote. 24 hours. I love you. Sonny Childs, Matthew 16:26. Be there. How do you turn this off? See ya.